Jerome Kagan was a giant in the field of developmental psychology. His work has shaped our understanding of how children grow and change. Kagan's research focused on temperament, the innate behavioral and emotional patterns we display early in life. He believed that these early tendencies could predict our personality traits later on. Kagan's research challenged the prevailing belief that environment was the sole determinant of personality. He argued for a more nuanced view where biology and experience interact to shape who we become. His groundbreaking longitudinal study, launched in 1989, provided compelling evidence for this perspective. This study, conducted at Harvard's Laboratory for Child Development, followed hundreds of children from infancy to adolescence. The goal was to observe how their temperaments, measured in their first year of life, might predict their behavior as they grew older. Kagan's findings revolutionized our understanding of personality development and continue to influence the field today. In 1989, Kagan and his team embarked on an ambitious longitudinal study. This study was not just any ordinary research project. It was designed to span decades, capturing the intricate details of human development from infancy through adolescence and beyond. They recruited over 500 infants from the Boston area, aiming to track their development over an extended period. These infants came from diverse backgrounds, ensuring a rich and varied data set that would provide insights applicable to a broad spectrum of the population. The researchers were particularly interested in temperament, those early differences in how babies react to the world around them. Temperament includes a range of behaviors and emotional responses, from how easily a baby is soothed to how they respond to new experiences and people. The study began with a simple premise. Could they identify early markers of temperament that would predict later personality traits? This question was groundbreaking because it sought to understand the roots of personality, potentially offering insights into how early experiences shape who we become. To answer this question, they devised a series of assessments to measure the infant's reactions to various stimuli. These stimuli ranged from loud noises to new toys and even interactions with strangers, each designed to elicit a range of responses that could be meticulously recorded and analyzed. These assessments formed the foundation of their research and provided a rich data set for analysis. The data collected was not just quantitative, but also qualitative, capturing the nuances of each child's behavior and emotional responses. The study's longitudinal design was its key strength. By following the same children over many years, the researchers could observe how their temperaments evolved. This long-term perspective allowed for the identification of patterns and changes that short-term studies might miss. By following the same children over many years, the researchers could observe how their temperaments evolved. They could see how early behaviors and reactions were linked to later personality traits, academic achievements, and even social relationships. This approach allowed them to control for individual differences and environmental factors that might otherwise skew the results. By considering the context of each child's life, the researchers could make more accurate predictions and draw more reliable conclusions. The Harvard study was a groundbreaking endeavor, providing unprecedented insights into the nature of temperament and its role in shaping personality. It paved the way for future research, highlighting the importance of early childhood experiences and their lasting impact on our lives. The study's first assessments took place when the infants were just 4 months old. Each baby was brought to the lab and presented with a series of novel stimuli. These included unfamiliar toys, moving mobiles, and even recordings of other infants crying. The researchers carefully observed each infant's reactions to these stimuli. They were particularly interested in 4 key indicators of temperament: motor activity, crying, vocalizations, and limb tension. Based on these observations, they classified the infants into 2 broad categories: high reactive and low reactive. High reactive infants displayed heightened reactivity to the stimuli. They exhibited more vigorous motor activity, cried more intensely, and showed greater limb tension. In contrast, low reactive infants were calmer and more relaxed. They showed less motor activity, cried less, and appeared less distressed by the unfamiliar sights and sounds. These initial assessments provided the first glimpse into the infants' temperaments. The researchers hypothesized that these early differences in reactivity would predict their behavior later in childhood and beyond. Section 4. The high reactives, a world of intense stimulation. The high reactive infants, as their name suggests, exhibited heightened sensitivity to their surroundings. From the moment they entered the world, these infants were acutely aware of every detail around them. They were more easily startled by loud noises and bright lights. A sudden clap or a flash of light could send them into a state of distress, their tiny bodies reacting with an intensity that was hard to miss. New experiences often elicited strong reactions, sometimes with prolonged crying or fussiness. A new face, an unfamiliar sound, or even a change in their routine could lead to hours of crying as they struggled to process the overwhelming stimuli. These infants seemed to experience the world with greater intensity. Every new object, every new sound was a source of fascination and sometimes distress. Their eyes would widen, their bodies would tense as they took in the world around them. Every sight, sound, and sensation seemed amplified, leading to a heightened state of arousal. This constant state of alertness meant that they were always on edge, always ready to react to the next stimulus. While this sensitivity could be overwhelming at times, it also meant that high reactive infants were highly attuned to their environment. They noticed things that others might miss, their senses finely tuned to the world around them. Kagan's research suggested that these early tendencies could translate into specific personality traits later in life. His studies showed that the way these infants reacted to their environment could shape who they would become as adults. For example, high reactive infants were more likely to be cautious and introverted as they grew older. Their heightened sensitivity made them more aware of potential dangers, leading them to be more reserved and careful in their interactions. They might prefer quiet activities and smaller groups of friends. Large gatherings in noisy environments could be overwhelming, so they sought solace in more controlled, quieter settings. It's important to note that not all high reactive infants followed the same path. While many became introverted, others learned to manage their sensitivity in different ways. Environmental factors such as parenting styles and social experiences also played a role in shaping their development. Supportive and understanding parents could help these children navigate their sensitivities, turning potential challenges into strengths. However, Kagan's work highlighted the powerful influence of early temperament on personality formation. His research underscored the importance of understanding these early traits, as they could provide valuable insights into the development of personality and behavior. Section 5. The low reactives, calm, cool, and collected. In contrast to their high reactive counterparts, the low reactive infants were the epitome of calmness. These babies exhibited a serene demeanor that was almost mesmerizing to observe. Their reactions to the world around them were subdued, and they seemed to take everything in stride. They seemed unfazed by the novel stimuli presented in the lab, whether it was a new toy, a strange sound, or an unfamiliar face. These infants maintained their composure. Their eyes might widen slightly in curiosity, but their bodies remained relaxed and their expressions calm. Their motor activity was minimal, their cries were infrequent and short-lived, and their overall demeanor was one of quiet contentment. These babies did not flail their arms or kick their legs energetically. Instead, they lay still, observing their surroundings with a peaceful expression. These infants were not easily ruffled. Even when faced with situations that might cause distress in other babies, the low reactives remained composed. Their ability to stay calm was remarkable. They seemed to possess an innate ability to remain relaxed and composed, even in unfamiliar situations. This trait made them particularly easy to care for, as they rarely became upset or agitated. This ease with novelty suggested a lower baseline level of arousal, making them less reactive to external stimulation. Loud noises, bright lights, and bustling environments did not seem to faze them. Kagan's research indicated that low reactive infants tended to develop into more outgoing and sociable children. As they grew, these children were more likely to engage with their peers and explore their surroundings with confidence. They were more likely to embrace new experiences and thrive in stimulating environments. Their early calmness translated into a willingness to try new things and meet new people. Their easygoing nature often made them adaptable and resilient in the face of challenges. When confronted with obstacles, these children approached them with a level-headedness that was impressive for their age. Again, it's crucial to remember that temperament is not destiny. While these early traits can provide insights, they do not determine a child's future with certainty. Environmental influences play a significant role in shaping personality. The interactions children have with their caregivers, the experiences they encounter, and the environments they grow up in all contribute to their development. However, Kagan's work demonstrated that early temperament can provide valuable clues about a child's future tendencies. By understanding these early traits, parents and caregivers can better support their child's growth and help them navigate the world with confidence and ease.